Winning against Royal AM is just another step closer into getting to the finals of the Nedbank Cup. And this is very important, not because we want to go and play in the finals again or we want to end the trophy drought, but also for next season. Because if the Chiefs does not end up being number 3 on the league, then that means the only way they can qualify to play in the CAF Confederations Cup next season is by winning the Nedbank Cup, which means this is literally our last chance at getting to a point where we can play in Africa next season. Because when it comes to the league, it's now out of our hands to basically end up being second in the league unless we destroy SuperSport by 10-0 when we face them and then basically make our goal difference bet. Otherwise, in Nedbank Cup is really it. And the big question that people have right now before this game is, Uguti, if Zwane fails to win this game, does that mean he will get fired? Well, we'll talk about that in this video. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs, Khosi Football Club. And yes, we are previewing the Nedbank Cup match between Kaizer Chiefs and Royal AM. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Obviously, Uguti, is Zwane's job on the line if he loses against the Royal AM? Here's a quick answer. I think not. The reason is, Uguti, right now Chiefs have already bought players that we clearly know, Uguti, it's Zwane who wanted those players. An example is Kevin Msimango. We know Uguti Zwane has been a fan of Kevin Msimango. We've seen pictures. We just know Uguti has been a long time admirer Msimango. That could be an argument. Uguti Chiefs are building a team and they are trying to see Uguti where does Zwane want to take the team, and they are giving him the tools so that he can complete what he has tried to build this season. However, that's not to say Chiefs cannot just hire another coach. So in a way, I personally believe Uguti, they will not let him go because of the fact that position yake on the log right now, he has tried to get us to top 4 while we struggled with other coaches who are more experienced than him to be even closer to that with players who had played longer together. But with Zwane, here he is 4th on the league and he could potentially end up being number 3 or number 2 if something happens our way in the remaining games. Anyways, Seskul Zwane and him losing his job or not losing his job. Can we now go to the game and talk about specifically how I see the game happening from both our end and also from Royal AM, how are they going to approach this game? Before I talk about that, please do like the video. Helps me to reach more people like you, and also subscribe to this channel. This channel we speak everything that has to do with Kaizer Chiefs. We preview matches, we do our match watch alongs, and we post videos each and every day. And we also go live every weekday at 7:30. Now, the approach Royal AM. Over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've been dishing out warnings to these teams. Uguti, when you're going to play against Chiefs, don't leave spaces behind. However, we know Uguti John Maduga is a very ball-playing coach. He doesn't like to sit back and defend. But look at what he did for him when we played against him earlier on in the season, when he was coaching Pietermaritzburg. We beat him. And then when we played against Royal AM, we beat them 2-0 again. So their ball-playing and position thingy might not actually be working for John Maduga against the Kaizer Chiefs. Zwane, because yes, he did beat Zwane when Baxter was still there, but this season it just hasn't happened for him. The only person who did beat the Chiefs was Dan Malisela. It wasn't Maduga beginning of the season. But even in that game, the Chiefs got their chances, but they missed a lot of our chances, and we ended up considering that goal early on in the game because of a stupid defensive mistake, and then we ended up conceding and losing the game. So John Maduga in his pre-match presser, he mentioned something about caution and knowing Uguti, if you are playing against the Chiefs, you must always see Uguti how you can approach the game and make sure Uguti you don't put yourself in a position where you end up getting red cards and blah blah blah. I'm paraphrasing him. To me, that came across as a coach who does not want to try Chiefs, because we've seen coaches try Chiefs and they've failed. So now, or they ended up being in a situation that they didn't want to be in, like Stellenbosch, they lost Veleg, they failed. So I can say that. Now with John Maduga, I could see him actually trying to do something different with the Chiefs. invite the pressure, but then hit them on a counter. Hit us, angathi them. I'm talking as if Royal AM. Royal AM might just say, you know what? Let's not try and beat them and by positioning and playing around them, because at the end of the day, what we'll be doing is we'll be leaving spaces for Saile, for Odoli, for Odupre. So let's just sit back, let them have the ball, and then when we turn over position, we are quick in our transition. And that could really hurt Chiefs, because for starters, starting position Ska Solomons, or when we lose the ball, Solomons is like overlapped, Uthandi is overlapped, which is a system that it comes with ama risk akon ukuthi you overlap, then there is a high reward ukuthi we have more numbers up front, but also it means high risk, because if we are countered now, we're only left with 2 center backs at the back, and then we have a problem. So I think that's one thing that John Maduka could try and hurt Chiefs ukuthi if we don't leave spaces behind our own defenders, they will try and add numbers so that they can compensate for our numbers that are behind, and then they try to hit us on the counters, which now means it presents the second problem, because the first problem is that they might try and hit us from count, but the second problem is the fact that now we have to break down their defense. And this means a very scary possibility that I will discuss in a moment. Starting 11. Let's talk about the starting 11, and then we'll talk about what possibility I was talking about. So, if back 4 years, I don't see it changing. Solomons, Ngezana, Dove, and Hlanti, and Peterson. And obviously, all I'm going to ask for, we back 5 years, is good. I hope they've had a meeting. Like, because you can't be told by the coach what to do all the time. Naning Melen fixer isn't good, guys. You know, our communication has sucked over the past few games. We need to fix this, because we are playing a game and it's once off. You lose, you are out. It's a knockout. There are no do-overs. If you lose this, it's done. There's no second leg. So we need to communicate. We need to trust each other. We need to do all the things that we know Uguti will help the team win, because I cannot have the same commotion, the same nonsense that I've watched between Peterson and Dove and Ngezana over the past few weeks. Because this thing, Yoguti Njalo, the keeper is clashing with the players, or the players are clashing with themselves because they are not communicating. It would annoy me if we were to be knocked out because of a stupid defensive mistake again. So that's all I would ask from our defenders, because in any other way, they've kind of done pretty much good enough. But then it just comes down to this thing, Yoguti, they clash and then they consider Amakul that are not smart. Here comes the controversial part that might get some of you angry. By the way, give me your own predicted 11 and also let me know, Guti, why you are choosing those players. Mina, this is not the starting 11 I'm picking. It's the starting 11 that I'm predicting. So you have Umat, Nosteb. I know people are like, Mat, Nosteb and Jan. Here's the reason why. Ustabe, we know Guti, he got benched last week because of the fact that he had yellow cards, and they were afraid Uguti, if they played him, was gonna get a yellow card and miss this match. So him being benched in the previous game was a clear signal that they want to play him for this game. So that means he's going to play. Now people are asking, why is Matt going to play ahead of Zwane? It's simple. It's because Umati is trusted as this player who's more defensively sound, who works hard, who has experience and stuff like that. So because of work rate, if Zwane is anticipating Uguti Royal AM might try to play the ball through us, then he's going to trust a player who is more defensive, more capable defensively than Usamgelo. Because Usamgelo is a very good passer of the ball, is very good offensively, but the problem is that defensively he's still developing. And because of that, Zwane might just say, you know what, if Gugut Kanjani, I'll bring you on in the second half. Or he could actually play Zwane alongside Usteb and then play Umat as a 10. Because of the same reason, Uguti, he would still want to have Umat and Zwane and Usteb in the same field, grounding in the same starting 11. But the thing is, he still wants work rate he still wants work rate Kastebe, and the fact that I'm a combination Kastebe of going between the defenders and collecting the ball and starting the build up from the back. He has seen that is working. Umat, he still trusts his work rate, but also Usamgelo, he still needs his ability on the ball. The people will be asking, but what about Umtu? Umtu has been good for the Chiefs a lot, but in recent games, he hasn't been shining that much. And because of that, and solely because of that, he might just not play that game. And we may be told Uguti he's being rested because he's been playing consistently. And because of that, he might end up being fatigued. And because of that, they might try and rotate him a bit, because that will happen. There is also another very, 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 very long shot thing that might happen. Yoguti, since if Uzwane is anticipating Uguti Royal AM will sit back, hold on to your chairs, he might just play Umatlo. I know, because if you play Umatlo, I wouldn't play Umatlo. But Umatlo, we've seen Uzwane does favor him when he foresees with the team that we're playing against, or the team that we're playing against at the time is sitting deep, and then he trusts Uguti. He has passes that open defenses. But this is a long shot, and I don't think it's happening. One that I can see happening is Umtu actually being benched in favor of Uzwane, and then Umat might have a bit advanced position, or even Uzwane himself might play a bit advanced ahead of Steb and Umat because of their work rate. Now, to our forwards, again, I'm going to be a bit controversial, not controversial, say something that some of you might not like, but that might be a reality. So Udoli is going to start, Udupri is going to start. Usaile, we saw Uti, we talked about this in the video yesterday. You can go check it out up here. I was talking about whether Kaizer Chiefs players are not passing Usaile on purpose or blah 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 and all of that stuff. You can go check that live stream up there. But Usaile might actually be benched tomorrow, because in the other game, we questioned, a lot of people talked about his decision making, and I defended him, saying that he's probably just under pressure and he's trying to over impress, and because of that, he ends up making mistakes. But he might actually be benched if Uzwane is also anticipating a low block from the side, Royal AM, and then he might bring in, hold on to your chairs, Ukaleb. Might bring in Ukaleb because he's expecting Uguti will then cross the ball, and then Ukaleb is tall, and then he's expecting him to head Amapola and see what happens. That is what I think. However, I would say it's a tricky situation, but based on the players that are in form with Chiefs, I would start with the same back five: Peterson, Solomon Ngezana, Dove Hlanti, and then with midfield I would play with Stebe and Umtu, and then Stebe, Zwane, and Umtu, and then up front Dupri, Doli, and Sahil. I know Guti, that's a bit risky thinking about Guti. If I'm playing Uzwane would need a talking to if he's playing a double pivot, no Stebe, because then you don't want to be run over in our midfield. But it's a risk that I would be willing to take if I really talk to Uzwane and I'm expecting him to defend really well. So we'll see what Uzwane thinks, but also we'll have a match preview tomorrow, an hour before the game, reacting to the starting 11, and we'll also be watching the game together, not on the channel Bantu Benkos. I will be watching a Pola on my own. Now you'll be watching a Pola Guinea, but then we will be communicating as the game is going on, because I cannot show the game on the channel, because then I will get copyright strikes. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one, and until next time, remember, equals I'll pay you more.